Welcome back to the Director's Garage. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael, and today I kind of wish I had a lab coat because we're going to be getting into some science. Go figure. Me, mad scientist. So, how'd we get here? Well, let's just start with, you want to know the quickest way to bore the hell out of me? Tell me something is accurate. My Genelecs are accurate. I've had them for 15 years. These Capitol Records IEMs, these things are tonally accurate. They are reference monitors and they will tell you exactly what's on the recording. Same thing with these. These are the Neumann back here. They're coming up. Hopefully they don't fall. These are the Neumann 20s, something or other. I got to thank Zeos for making me buy these. He told me they're so accurate. They're perfectly accurate, but the cable is horrible. It's microphonic. Anytime you just touch it, it's like it rings through your head. Anyway, but they are great. They actually are really accurate, which is great for mixing and stuff. So if I want accuracy, I have any number of products around the Director's Garage that can get me as close to accurate as I can stand, which really isn't too far from the story of Icarus getting too close to the sun. Accuracy has its purpose, but it's not really all that enthralling when it comes to like enjoyment. Now, when I'm not working, when I'm not in the field and working on a project and concerned about perfect audio and the quality of my YouTubes when they're going out or the book on tape I've been recording, all that, I just want headphones and speakers that take me away from the land of accuracy. I want IEMs to transport me into another realm. I want headphones that show me something different, that show me the depths of my favorite music I haven't yet heard. In today's episode of What's in the Box, it's a big box. We're creating a big bang. We're gonna take music into another realm of enjoyment. We're gonna find an undiscovered country that was there all along. We're gonna do it by crossing the streams. We're gonna be making the sound more accurate. But first, if you missed the video, here's a link. What we're doing, it's up here. What we're doing, well, what I'm doing, because this is a massive operation of one person, I'm doing a giveaway of 2 headphones to celebrate getting to 1,000 subscribers. Only 99,000 more to go.
Jeepers creepers.
It's so lame. Click the link to learn about how you can set yourself up with a chance to win a Massdrop Hi-Fi Man HE5XX or the Linsol donated Tin-Ears P2. Both planar magnetics and both sound great with a decent amp, and they're a lot of fun. So it's time to grip it and rip it. We're going for broke. Have you heard about their Midnight Rambler? Okay, I'm going to do a reference for every time I hold a knife. I'm going to find a song reference. This box cost me a fortune. I hope it's worth it. I really do. I don't even know if today's episode's going to work. This is a total experiment. And it's been sitting here for well over a month. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna see what's here. Got a camera on it. And we've got cardboard. Oh, it's a box inside of a box. Look at that. Oh, this box is open. Shit, this is another failed unboxing. I just felt the entire inside. See, I open it upside down so you can't like grab my address just for, you know, being a person. Just opened it upside down and he didn't tape the top of the box. So it just kind of like splayed out. When I pull this box off, I think we're going to see what's in the box. Okay, ready? I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Okay, you can't see anything. Okay, we've got a box here that's going to have some of the pieces for it. I know, you're probably going, what the hell did he buy? So we've got this thing here, and it's just going to come undone. And, okay, this is the Chord Hugo M-Scaler. This is a device I have wanted since the show began. It's used, but it's in really, really good condition. Not a scratch on this thing. So, what does this thing do? It's an M-Scaler. What does it do? And how does it apply to all that garbage I said at the top of the episode? Well, in short, this thing will take your digital audio converter, your DAC, and make it better. It'll put it on steroids. But to better understand it, let's go back in time for a brief history of digital audio. The first inventor to patent the idea of digital audio was way back in 1938. Yes, they thought about digital audio before World War II. It was a Brit named Alec Harley Reeves, and the technique was called pulse code modulation, or PCM. But it wasn't for music, it was for the telephone system, which totally made sense when you think about it. You've got these long physical wires that run under oceans and across continents. Analog signals just degrade, so think about the enhancement you could have if you could send a digital signal across those lines, right? Well, Bell Telephone Labs did the first implementation of PCM in 1943 with the intent of scrambling military transmissions. Now, 1957, which is the same year as Sputnik, that was the year the first computer recording was made. This is way, way earlier than I would have ever expected. I was surprised to learn this as I was looking this stuff up. And in fact, by 1969, the first 32 kilohertz, 32K recording was made by the Japanese manufacturer NHK. And the first CD was patented in 1970 by an American inventor named James Russell. So there was a CD idea for a CD back in 1970. That's the Nixon administration. But it was Sony and Philips that set the modern standard of 44.1 kilohertz for the compact disc. And we've been sort of trapped into this 44.1K box ever since 1982, when the first CD, which was Peter Gabriel's fourth studio album, Security, was released. And it was marketed to us consumers, us schmucks, as perfect sound forever, which was kind of a slight to vinyl at the time for its pops and clicks and scratches. And it also took a swipe at the cassette tape for its hiss and its propensity to do this to your car. Can't tell you the number of tapes I've lost. Anyway, anyone traveling the highways in the 1980s knows the pain of seeing this along the side of the road. The first CDs could hold 74 minutes of sound, which was reasonable, but it was a length chosen because that happens to be the length of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. So what does 44.1 mean? You hear 44.1 all the time. What does it mean? Well, 44.1 kilohertz means that for each second that passes from here to here, the audio signal is sampled 44,100 times, which sounds like it's incredibly accurate. Now, professional formats came along and pushed the limit to 48K, and then each of those two standards were doubled to 88.2K and 96K, and then those were doubled again to 176 and 192 kilohertz for professional recordings. Now, given the speed of today's computers, sampling anything at 44.1K is like child's play. I mean, 10-year-old, 15-year-old computers can handle it. So the goal of external DACs, digital audio converters, that we have is to focus on eliminating jitter or reducing jitter, which is variations in the clock timing at the point at which it takes the sample. So Chord, the company, has been doing this for years with a number of successful products. They had the Hugo TT, the Hugo 2, and they do it by using taps to check and correct clock jitter at an astounding rate of like 100,000 times a second. But this box here takes a look at the other side of the equation. It takes a look at the sample rate itself. And what it does is look at those gaps between the samples and essentially rounds off the distance between the sample times and fills in those gaps. So it will, in essence, take a CD with a sample rate of 44.1 and amplify it by 16 times the material that's on the disc. And it can do all of this in real time. This box is said to improve any DAC. But to get the most out of it, you really need a Hugo TT2. Now, I only have the Hugo 2 here, but buried in this box is a feature that sort of unlocks the full potential of the M scaler. And I happen to have this cable right here. I wish I could play popular music for you, I really do, but that would make this experiment so much cooler. I mean, if we could do this with real music, but I can't because labels, they'll sue my ass. But I do have access to a music catalog that happens to be fairly well recorded, and it will give us the opportunity to see that if you can hear a better presentation using the M scaler or not. I have a subscription to a company called Epidemic Sounds. No, they're not a sponsor of the channel yet. But I happen to be a fan, and I singled out some of their better recorded tracks to kind of help us with our little experiment here. And some of Epidemic's music sounds really good to me. It really sounds like it's a decent quality, and they use real instruments, and it's not like all synthy or anything, although they do some pop stuff, and they have everything. They have a lot of different varieties, and sound effects too, which I'm well aware some people would love to see me stop using. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen, never, no. But with good quality recordings, we will hopefully be able to hear the differences when I add and remove this M scaler from the chain, even though maybe this music isn't something that we would necessarily listen to on our own. Now, in theory, this experiment I'm about to do really shouldn't work. It shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be able to hear a damn thing, because I'm going to record it at a lower rate, and then I'm going to compress it into a video which gets then sent to YouTube. This really shouldn't work. You probably should hear nothing. But I have seen this done elsewhere, and it did work. So we're going to try it here because it might really impress you. So now I'm setting this up, and I may cut all this, but you never know. What is in the box? So they give you two BNC cables, which is what you would use if you were going into the Chord Hugo TT2. This other cable was like $300. Yeah, the stupid got stupider. And then it comes with a remote, apparently. I'm not sure what for, but okay. It's got some BNC to coax, and then an optical cable, which I'm not going to use. And then we've got a power brick and a USB. Just to explain it, on the back side of this, you've got your 15 volt input, and then you've got BNCs in, optical in, USB in, which is what I'm going to use coming off my computer. You've got optical out, speed if out, and this is if you're going to a lesser DAC, and then you've got the dual BNCs out if you're going into a Chord product, a modern Chord product. And then that's going into this Hugo 2 right here. Now, what I need to do is set up a recording on the back side of this. We are back on, and what I've done here is I had to reconfigure a little bit because I was originally going to run this through my SP1000, but my SP1000 doesn't have the right output to sync up with everything else. So we have a computer feeding the M scaler, which is then feeding the Hugo 2, which is then feeding into a Mark the Unicorn M2, and then recording on a laptop at 48 kilohertz, which then gets dumped into this show. So, and you can't do any more than that because the show, my video app, needs to be running at 48K. So that's why this, in theory, might not work. But we're going to try it, and we're going to see what happens, because I spent a lot of money on this. It'll sound really good in person, I promise. Okay, so what are the cues? When this light is red and this light is red, you know that the M scaler is not on. When this light is white and this light turns blue, that means that this thing is now spitting out about 700 plus per second into this kilohertz per second into the Chord M scale, the Chord Hugo 2, which is then decoding it and sending it out. So it's the M scaler is working its magic when the light is white, and it's not working any magic when it's red. And I'm surprised at how fast this thing follows whatever I tell it to do. And these other settings in the middle here are medium settings. So I just want to see what it does at its max and what it does at its least. Let's see what it does.
You got me acting out. Oh, tenderness is out the window. What you do to me when the cold bites blue is straight cool. used to be you leaving writings on the wall. Roses and hungry heads, but now there's only madness. Got me feeling dusty. Got me feeling dusty. I can't even whisper and it's hard to see my head and wake me and tell me it's a dream. A dream. The worst kind you've ever dreamed. Another night here. Don't wanna walk another mile. I just can't. Please don't make me do it. Too much to lose. I've got too much to lose.
Secondhand, I felt a bit forgotten. Not your plan, but now the days of silence outgrow the fun I've done. But tell me, do you wanna carry on? Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. Go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder and let's enjoy the ride. When we started, our wishes aligned. We were and Jan combined. Now the tables have turned. Can we live and unlearn? You tell me. Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder and let's enjoy the ride.
This is the first song I think I've heard anything on.
So alone in this stillness. Oh, I long for you, sweet.
I decided to stop the playback here. It's 24 hours later, and I had a chance to really go through this M-scaler more thoroughly with music that I'm more familiar with and you'd be more familiar with. And I did do some streaming off of Tidal, and again, I did notice that it got a little bit better, but it wasn't the improvement that I was hoping to achieve when we set out on this experiment. Because it was clear to me that what we were hearing in the demo really wasn't impressing that much. Even though when I look at the waveforms, and I'll show them to you, put them up on screen, there's a density difference between having the M-scaler out of the path and the M-scaler in the path. So it's doing something. I just don't know that it's like, I mean, it's given us maybe like 5% or 8% versus something that's a remarkable jump in quality. So it never degraded the signal. It always seemed to improve it, but it was like, by how much? I mean, am I really hearing that much of a difference? Could I pass a blind taste test? No, I don't think I could. So I think what needs to happen here is I need to get, unfortunately, a Hugo TT2 in-house that will better pair with the M-scaler. I Googled some articles overnight, and I found out that most other users have also noted that the Hugo 2 does not see the remarkable improvement that the Hugo TT2 sees with the M-scaler before it in the path. So I think what has to happen, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I've got to actually pick up a Hugo TT2 to be able to, and we'll rerun this experiment because I want you guys to be a part of it because that's what we do here. And I'll probably just replace the TT in my chain because this box has been working flawlessly for me for years. I've used this Hugo TT in my chain, and it's been a remarkable addition, a good addition to the signal path, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's for work or whether it's for listening. This thing always seems to bring the goods anytime I put something through it. So I don't want to eliminate this Chord technology from my chain. I just want to upgrade it, which is, as you know what the price of these things are, they're not cheap either. So we're part of the way there. I think that it was worth doing this experiment. I was excited. I was hoping just we'd get a better result, but that's the nature of doing experiments. Sometimes it's going to show benefit, sometimes it won't. And this case, it was like, that happens. But it's in the name of science and research. And the Director's Garage Labs are not satisfied with mediocre. We want massive. That's how it goes sometimes. When you do experiments, sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. This one was, I'm going to call this a qualified fail. It was not what I wanted to hear. However, I wouldn't know if it was a fail unless I actually did the experiment, took the time, and brought you along for the ride. So if you like seeing these kinds of experiments and me playing with different equipment to improve the sound, give me a subscribe or a like or something, and don't forget that we have the contest going on. Make sure you get over there and get your name in for that. It doesn't cost anything. It's just me giving away some stuff because we have 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you do that. And coming up, I have a hot category over-ear headphone that's been sitting in a box since early December. Not kidding. I've waited and waited and waited. We just had so much product coming through here. I couldn't get to it. So it's been sitting there. It's the odd man out because it's my own personal stuff, not something that somebody sent me to review. So I didn't want to jump the line, and I want people to get their earphones back in a timely manner. So I put my stuff on hold, which unfortunately sets this amazing headphone to the back of the class. So, but its time is now. So that'll be the next episode. Will be a normal unboxing. It won't be a technology unboxing. It'll be an over here hot category headphone, and I can't wait to share that with you. And until then, I'm going to try and get my hair cut because we're about 2 weeks away from Grandpa Munster. Don't you think? So take care, everyone, and I will see you before you know it with shorter hair, hopefully.